While we patiently wait for the next big season of Sword Art Online, let's kick back and relax and check out this brand new anime spin-off. It's Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online, a brand new spin-off of the Sword Art Online series which takes place entirely within the world of Gun Gale Online. This is going to be a 50-50 type of anime series for the Sword Art Online fanbase. I have a feeling that people are either just going to absolutely love or hate this show, especially when they constantly try to compare it to the previous seasons of Sword Art Online. This is simply a spin-off with a brand new cast set within the world of Gun Gale Online, the game which was featured mostly in the second season of Sword Art Online, and one that I really loved visually as it was an extreme contrast to the fantasy setting that we had from the original Sword Art Online. And this episode right here was a lot of fun. I truly enjoyed it. Basically, it was just a big action episode, which was introducing the main character of the series, this girl by the name of Llenn, who is super adorable because she's wearing all pink and a bunny hat, and she has a P90 machine gun that she calls P-chan. P-chan. She actually names her very own pink machine gun. It's adorable, hilarious, and awesome all at the same time. And this episode right here is basically just showing us the Gun Gale world and the big battle tournaments that take place within, and all of the amazing strategy that we're going to see from this show. Just like the rest of Sword Art Online, this is like a VR game that people can go into. They can create their very own character, and they can use all assortment of guns, from handguns and rifles, machine guns, RPGs, shotguns, whatever you want. You can deck out your character to look like a military guy or some sort of stereotypical Japanese idol. It is just crazy, there are no rules, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I truly do believe that. I don't think this is going to be like the previous Sword Art Online series where we have a very serious story to tell. I think this is going to be a more personal one that's going to delve into the relationships of these characters and how they portray themselves in the game world and how we see them in the real world. As at the very end of this episode, we get to see that the main character of this show, Llenn, is completely different in real life compared to her game character. In the game, she's super plucky and adorable and super fast and ultra confident, and in the real world, she just seems like this really nice, sort of just calm adult who looks after all of these children. That's all that's really revealed in this episode. This one right here, though, is just an excuse to see a lot of really cool tactics, and I also love it because, too, it's like they threw all of these different military-style fighting into a blender, and they're like, let's see what would happen if, like, these guys went up against these guys, if, like, machine gun nuts went up against, like, special forces, if snipers went up against people who use handguns, and it's just really cool to see, and that combined with the fact that it's a video game and they'll have unique abilities as well really adds a lot to the strategy of this episode, which is ultimately about these two characters. There's the main character, Llenn, who I said is the main plucky girl, and then there is her other team member who goes by the name of M, who's this huge super big jack dude who is very analytical and a great strategist and is basically the brains of the operation, with Llenn being a surprising amount of muscle. You wouldn't know that until the very end of the episode, however, and this entire episode is watching them go through this big battle, which is called the Squad Jam, where they go up against these various teams who use special tactics to take each other out, and they go around the terrain, and we get to see just a lot of really great intense shooting action. And it is a VR game, but like when people get killed, it still looks strikingly realistic, like when they get shot in the head or they get blown away like multiple times. You really get to see the body getting riddled with all of these virtual bullets. It still gives this sort of dark element to the show, and it makes me wonder, man, if we ever get to something like this, man, this is going to be really intense. But throughout this entire episode, like I said, it just sort of follows Llenn and M as they navigate this battlefield, narrowly avoiding other opponents and trying to find a safe spot while they wait for everyone to basically take each other out. And there's a lot of interesting opponents that they run into in this episode. This group of Japanese gun nuts who only use machine guns, and the special forces guys, which according to M consist of like multiple people who are in different fields of the army and the police and the special forces, and they come together and they actually play this game so that they can sharpen their skills in the real world to work better as a very effective team. And they are really awesome in this episode, the way that they actually move like an actual unit and take everybody out, while Llenn and M just sort of slowly run around this entire battlefield to escape their vision and to potentially have a chance to actually fight against them. When we finally get to that is when things really are interesting, because in the first half of the episode, Llenn seems kind of like a rookie at this game. Like, she has no idea what she's doing. She's not much of a strategist. She doesn't have a lot of confidence. But the most interesting thing about her character is that she has some sort of special ability that allows her to move really fast, like Roadrunner fast, which I think goes in line perfect with her actual character design, having a hat that has rabbit ears on it. It implies, of course, that she is very small and quick, and she actually utilizes this to her advantage a lot, because at the end of the episode, they actually manage to take out this Special Forces team because she is so small that she's able to hide in a suitcase which is just hanging out in the middle of a street, and before these guys even realize what it is, she pops out of the box and starts just taking everyone out point blank range with her P90, and she's able to move and zip around really fast, and it's super exhilarating seeing this in action. You can even see her smirk a little as she's shooting and taking out this one guy who's about to take her out, but she just gets right in front of him below him and pops him right in the head. It is just awesome. I can't wait to see more of this action in the show, and of course to learn a little bit more about this girl and why she's so different in both of these worlds. That's at least the way that I see it. Like I said, I think we're going to be looking at a more personal story, looking at the psychology of a character in the show, as opposed to the whole defeating a corporate villain or some ex-member of that group who tried to kill people in the previous games. All I'm saying is, give the show a chance. It might be something you like. So, what's the rundown on the very first episode of Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale? It needs a shorter title. We should have just called this series Gun Gale Online, but I know why they gave it the Sword Art title. They have to throw that hook into the water so the fans are just going to bite down on it. They got to give a reason for people to actually check this out, and I understand. It was done for marquee value. It's going to bring more people in, put more butts in seats, and I think it worked to its advantage. I was a little apprehensive about checking out this show. I know that Sword Art is a very divisive series. Some people just cannot stand it. Some people absolutely love it. Like this actual show, like I said, I think it is very black and white. You either really love it or you hate it, and I don't hate Sword Art. I get a lot of enjoyment from the series. I love the characters. I've always loved the animation style of this show, and I'm glad to see that it's sort of carrying over even into the spin-off series. This is a really nice-looking show. Not as colorful as the other ones. There's definitely a lot of gray in this show, but it goes along with the whole Gun Gale setting, which is sort of like this dystopian future. It really does work to its benefit, but then it contrasts with some of the main characters, like Llenn in this episode, who just wears all pink, which is hilarious because you're totally going to see her just about every single place she goes, but she moves so fast and she relies on M to sort of act as her backup and reconnaissance. And like I said, I thought she was a rookie at first, but by the end of the episode, she's just zipping around and blasting people in all directions. It's really satisfying, and it really made me like this first episode a lot. That, in the grand tradition of Sword Art, the intro is just awesome. I love the imagery of the intro of this show, especially with all of the new characters who are going to be in this one. I'm very excited to see if this spin-off is going to hold any water, and of course it's just sort of opening the gates for more spin-offs of Sword Art in the future, with all of the different games that exist and all the characters they could potentially focus on. And for them to already introduce some characters that I like just as much as the other ones, big accomplishment right there. I already see Llenn becoming a very popular character as it actually goes on. What I'm trying to say is the first episode really lived up to the hype a lot. It was really fun to watch, and it went by in like an instant. That's how much I was actually enjoying it. And I loved all of the tense action and battles and how realistic they can actually play out, even though this is a ridiculous, over-the-top VR anime series. So yeah, I highly recommend checking this out if you are a fan of Sword Art Online. If you were just itching for anything else new that's Sword Art material, check this one out. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what this is going to really eventually evolve into. As far as I know, I believe this is based on a spin-off of light novel series, but my experience with Sword Art Online has only been through the anime version, so I don't know much there. So I am glad that I don't know much about this series, as it's going to continue to surprise me as it goes on. I liked this one quite a bit. Really great premiere. I think some moments looked better than others, and I think there were a few moments where the character models looked a little little iffy, and there were some parts of the episode, I do have to admit, dragged on just a little bit, mostly in the first half, but for the most part, for premiere episode, this was some really solid stuff. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Check it out, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the episode. Tell me all of them in the comments section below. Are you going to be checking out this Sword Art spinoff? Are you a fan of the Gun Gale Online stuff? What did you think of all the new characters, and what do you hope to see from the rest of this series? Let's start a discussion in the comments section. Thank you guys for watching this review. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay down now, baby.